don't love the... Oh, that's an Arcane Denial. No Vanquish the Horde today.
Today on Commander Replay, we check out 2 games with high power Najeela and find out, does your mana base affect your power? Next on Commander Replay. Hey guys, there's 2 great ways to support the channel. All links are in the description below.
Welcome back, everyone. Playing some Najeela the Blade Blossom today, aka one of the most powerful commanders ever printed. Let's take a look at this opener. It's got 2 lands. It's got... Is this one color fixing only? Every channel land is tap for mana as 1 additional. No. So this is ramp. 2 lands. This one's card draw, right? Yeah, that one's card draw. I think this works. We'll keep. Looks like we've got most of our colors. We've got 4 colors in our hand. That's solid. I have not played Najeela in a while. I have one put together in paper. I was trying to make it a CEDH list, but like... I have basically all the cards except the expensive stuff. Fast mana and the tutors and all that. And I don't play enough CEDH to actually go out and get those things, especially in paper. So I suppose I could proxy him because that's kind of a thing now. But when I put the deck together, proxying isn't where it is today. So anyway, there's a mana dork. Oh, man. Let's go for the green one first because the green one will spiral our mana much more than the other ones will. Take a peek at the list real quick. Here it is. We got a nice mana curve in here. I do like that there are a couple bigger things at the top end here. Not tons and tons, but a few big things to go to if it does get late in the game. I do like Ruinous Ultimatum. That can win you a game on its own, basically. Kindred Dominance, pretty good. Elish Norn, very good. So, yeah, a lot of powerful cards in the deck. Do have a couple of the Najeela combos. We've got Sword of Feast and Famine, and we've also got Nature's Will. We don't have all of the Najeela combos, though. There are a few more. What's that green enchantment? The one out of Avacyn Restored. Druid's Repository. That's the one. And who's the legendary bird guy? Derevi is the 2 main ones that I'm thinking of that tend to show up in CEDH decks a lot. You don't need to run them, right? Najeela's already really strong, and we have 2 of the other combos in there. I completely understand if the desire is to hold back a little bit with Najeela because she is just insane. So, but I do feel obligated to mention that those combos exist, should you choose to run them. We'll go for the Mana Dork right here just because the Mana Dork's a little bit slower. No one got off to a blazing start, so we're in good shape. Runaway Steamkin for opponent. Man, I remember the first time I played Najeela on the channel. That game, you can go watch that game. It's up somewhere, and like... You know, now we all know Najeela is crazy, but when it came out, there wasn't really anything like it, and it was kind of hard to evaluate. And I remember playing it the first time, I'm like, is this commander broken? Like, I feel like I didn't do anything, and I just won the game. And at the time, I didn't really know to what extent that would be true, but it's one of the strongest decks in all of Commander, and has been at the top of the CEDH game for a very long time. So, yeah, Najeela is crazy strong. Another Snowland, a little awkward with the lands here, but what can you do? Play the Snowland, comes in tapped. Let's see, if we go... Okay, I think if we do it like this, we go play the Fertile Ground. We'll put it on this one. I don't want to double it all up on the same land just because strip mines and things like that. And then we'll put Utopia Sprawl on the Canopy Vista. Oh, we need to choose a color for it. We need double blue. What is this one? Add 1 mana of any color. Okay, that's cool. We don't have any red, so I think I'm going to choose red. Also, I think we need red for our commander. Yes. Though we need double blue at some point. I guess we can get that from here. Okay. Yeah, we'll choose red. So, opponent's got Lotus Cobra and Tatyova, and D-Manny's got himself a Burnish Heart. That does bring it back to our turn. We have a Floodplain. Play the Floodplain. Going on the super slow mana here. Which mana can we make? That's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Yeah, we can get all our creatures in. That seems pretty good. Cast Najeela. Cast the Mindblade Render. And we've got 1 mana open. Nowhere we can really attack. It's not a warrior anyway, so we'll just pass like that. So one of the things that I've talked about periodically is that your mana base doesn't really affect your power level. I ran into a kid in Vegas who pulled out a consultation deck, and he's like, I don't have the dual lands, and guess what? He still won on turn 5, right? Your mana base just doesn't affect your power that much. Najeela being an exception to that rule, because you do need to be able to produce at least 1 stack of Wooburg, if not multiple stacks of Wooburg, and your mana base does have a pretty big impact on how likely you are to be able to activate that ability on time. Oh, that's a Jeweled Lotus. Those are good. And so, yeah, I see this come up on Twitter periodically, and with the exception of Najeela and maybe a handful of other commanders, Sisay probably being the other, Your mana base doesn't really affect your power. The other 63 cards in your deck will have a much bigger impact on your power. Like, the weighting of that power differential is like 95 to 5%, right? Like, by the time you have like 5 or 6 lands in play, your colors are probably fine. So having a really expensive mana base it helps your early game a little bit. And I get it, in CEDH that can matter, but like, for anything that's going to go past like turn 5, not that big of a deal. And sure, the individual game performance of your deck might vary a little bit. Like, I had a game with my Najeela deck in paper where I had the combo, I think I had a Feast and Famine on it, but I wasn't able to produce stacks of Wooburg to be able to use the ability because my mana base was terrible in that deck. And, ooh, the Gaia's Cradle Druid, don't love that one. Opponent's got some stuff going over there. Oh man, Wilderness Reclamation, wow. Yeah, opponent's got a lot going on. I think they're the threat. They're more threatening than us, I think, in this moment. I mean, we'll be able to turn it up on our turn, but still. Opponent's going to untap their lands at the end step. But anyway, yeah, whatever you think your mana base does to your power level, I promise you the other 63 cards in your deck will determine your power much more than the 36 lands in your deck. That's a Dockside Extortionist. They're going to get a couple. Looks like we have 2. Opponent's got 2. Looks like 5. Yep, 5 treasures. D-Manny's piloting his Iroas deck. Saw this one on the channel one time. This one's pretty cool. He said he's been working on it a little bit since that game. He got a really cool loop going with Angel of Glory's Rise and Savior of Olenbach, and they keep bringing each other back, and it's pretty wild. It's a pretty difficult thing to interact with. So we'll want to kill him before he gets to that point, because it's tough to get through that. But he is firmly not the focus at the table. We have this Tatyova deck. Oh, Vanquish the Horde, really? For lack of a better term, we'll call this Tatyova deck a combo deck. It's probably more of like a value-y kind of thing. I don't know what the win condition is. Labman, potentially, but don't love the... Oh, that's an Arcane Denial. No Vanquish the Horde today. I feel like we would rebuild better than everyone else if that Vanquish went off. Interesting with the Divine Visitation is that it's a lot of damage, but they aren't warriors, and that may not be the best. Arcane Denial trigger for both opponents. Well, that's in Nature's Will. We don't really have the attacks to go infinite. Or maybe we do. If we send everything to D-Manny, we'll get a bunch of tokens. We would get 2 tokens, which we would also probably send to him. Then we'd attack again, we'd get 4 tokens. Or no, yeah, we get 4. The question... Oh, yeah, we've got an Unwind also. I think this is going to work. Crack the Floodplain. Let's get some green mana. It'd be like green-blue, if we can find it. They do have a breeding pool. We'll get the breeding pool. Pay the 2 life. Let's get a Nature's Will. Swing into D-Manny. Opponent's going to try to snap our commander. We're going to unwind. My one concern is that if there's still interaction here, and then we burn the unwind, that Tatyova is just going to win, I think. We'll just hope that doesn't happen, but it is a thing that I'm thinking about in this moment. Oh, that's a deflecting swat! No! Oh, no! Wait, did they mess it up? No. Yeah, no, they had to counter something that's gone, so... Najeela gets bounced. Sadness. Well, we'll try this, see what happens. Send over the Mindblade Render. Attempted the turn 5 win, he recognizes the block, and I bet the Tatyova wins now. Cloud of the Dominus, there's one you don't see. If Enchanted Creature's blue, it gets 1/1, and Shroud, if it's red, it gets 1/1 and haste. Sweet. Opponent's playing Vadrik Astral Archmage, by the way. If it's neither day nor night, it becomes day as it enters the battlefield. Instant and sorcery spells cost X less, where X is Vadrik's power. Whenever day becomes night or night becomes day, put a +1/+1 counter on it. Yeah, it's easy to do spell-based combos with cost reduction like that. Can't decide. I think I like Mizzix a little bit better, but, this is the new shiny one. Definitely fun to try out. Oh, that's a Firemind's Foresight. They've got the Runaway Steamkin, too. Yeah, we might be boned here. If damage is what you're after with a Divine Visitation, Shared Animosity could be another option for that slot. It's a little bit easier to get into play. It's not the same as 4/4 Flying Vigilant, but it does allow you to attack big with your ground creatures. So it just depends on how long you plan the game to go. Because in a longer game, those 4/4s could be helpful, especially if you can get a couple of them. But the anti-synergy not being a Warriors does seem a little rough to me. Sudden Breakthrough. Target creature gets 2/0 and first strike until end of turn. Create a treasure token. What did opponent get with the thing? They got Searing Touch, Sudden Breakthrough, and Seething Song. This doesn't seem good. Searing Touch. I don't even think I've seen this card. Does 1 damage with buyback. 5 mana, though. It's a lot. Although, I guess if you have cost reduction coming in, gets a lot better. There's Seething Song. There's... Uh-oh. And now we dead. Well, that'd be the game. Yep, no interaction for the combos. Yeah, I mean, we had our combo and we had a counterspell, just opponents had more interaction than we did, so, you know, that's how that's going to go sometimes. But anyway, yeah, I think we're good to scoop here. For anyone that didn't see it, by the way, the loop is they get 5 mana with Seething Song, they cast Reiterate with buyback, cost reduced by 3, so it's what, 3 mana? So they net 2 mana every time, they make infinite mana, and then they cast that 1 damage buyback spell. Pretty cute little trick there. Oh man, if D-Manny had 1 more mana up, he could have Teferi's Protected, which would get him out of the, like if he did it right now, he wouldn't die this turn. And opponent would probably use all their spells and have to dig for a way to get him back. Welcome back, everyone. Game 2 with Najeela the Blade Blossom. Let's take a look at this opener. 4 lands, Smothering Tithe, Chatterfang is cool. Unsubstantiate, seems fine. Can we do better? Smothering Tithe is pretty good, but it'll sort of depend on like how fast our opponents go here. Smothering Tithe against Tatyova seems good. We'll keep. Tatyova's going to draw a million cards and just give us all the mana. If we can catch a Mana Dork somewhere up the top, that'd be nice. Speed this all up a turn. Aura Shards is a pretty nasty card. Let's get the Floodplain in. That one's a little slow. So this is my second game with the deck. I'm noticing a lot of tap lands in this deck. Caught a bunch of them in the first game. Oh, that's the Mana Crypt. Yeah, that's what I was hoping to avoid. I was hoping to avoid the Mana Crypt start. I'm really just getting to a place where I think it's time to ban Mana Crypt. It's so stupidly strong. Like, when I have a bad time in a game, I would say 50% of the time Mana Crypt is the cause. Opponent plays a gamble. Discards a Mana Drain. Well, at least they don't have the Mana Drain now. Anyway, yeah, I think this deck could have a few less tap lands. Again, I know, spending money on a mana base sucks. And in the first video, I had a whole spiel about how mana base doesn't really affect your power level. Najeela is one of the exceptions to that rule. You do need to be able to produce stacks of Wooburg, and that is a difficult thing to do early in a game. So, yeah, this is the deck where mana base does matter. A good thing to look at might be some of the Pain lands from, like, 8th, 9th, 10th edition. I think they're originally in Ice Age, but some of them are more expensive than others. They're not as cheap as you'd like them to be, which is a little bit annoying, but we don't have anything going on 2 here, so we'll just play this tap land and pass. But yeah, those might be worth looking at just to reduce the tap lands a little bit. I can't believe that those things haven't been reprinted in years at this point. Like, I think 10th edition was the last printing? And I get it, they were like a main part of the game for a long time, and like, sure, bringing some new lands into the fold is cool, right? No one wants to use the same card like every single time. We have green, we have blue and white, we have any color. What are we going to need double of? I'm thinking maybe like a black-red? We can get this Triome. Yeah, let's get the Triome. It's 3 colors. Seems like it makes sense. Yeah, with the Triomes too, you have the Snowlands and the Triomes. That's a lot of tap lands. That's a lot of tap lands. And there's a bunch of ways to go about that too. We'll take a peek at the desk list. Opponent's going to swing into us, and they put the Ring of Valkus on Vadrik. Yeah, it's going to pump its power up. Makes sense. Take a peek at the deck real quick. You want to know what I'd like to see? I'd like to see more Signets, because Signets take whatever your mana color is and filter it into, obviously, that Signet. I think I would like to see a little more of that. So if you do that, that would allow you to run a few more basics in the deck, and that means you'll have a few more lands that come in untapped, and then the Signets should be able to fix all your colors. And again, there's still some risk there, like it's not a perfect system, but I do notice the tap lands are very slow. Brings it to our turn 3. There's an Impact Tremors. What are we doing? Want this Chatterfang, or do we want our commander? Let's get our commander. Play the Mana Confluence, get Najeela. Because next turn will probably be Smothering Tithe. Mana Crypt and Ring of Valkus trigger. Hoping we can avoid... I mean, they're probably really close. Got cost reduction 2 right now. Oh man, we may need to Anguished Unmaking. They're down to 3 cards. I guess that's good. Opponent passes without casting anything. That's good news. This thing flips over. Oh, yeah, right. And then gets 1 bigger. As much as I really want to try the Smothering Tithe, I think we need to Anguished Unmaking. There's a Forging the Tyrite Sword for opponent. So, take a quick look at our opponents. We do have 7 Deadly Sins piloting Vadrik, Astral Archmage. Essentially, instants and sorceries cost X less, where X is its power, and it flips day and night. When it flips day and night, it gets +1/+1 counter. They got us with it in the last game. Yeah, it's pretty easy to assemble combos when you have cost reduction like 3, 4, 5. Cast just about anything you want at that point. In the middle, we've got D-Manny piloting his Iroas deck, which we've seen on the channel before. Cool little deck. And this is going to be a human tribal deck, but it does have some cool interactions in it, so keep our eyes out for those. And then finally, we've got Asgard Iron piloting Tatyova Benthic Druid, which is just going to draw all the cards and gain all the life and make all the mana and do all of those things. Tatyova's now in play. Oh, this is a tough decision. Because Tatyova's probably going to do a million things. The other thing, too, because there's not a lot of basics in the deck, these are actually tap lands all the time because the basic count is really low. So another reason to have a few more basics in here. And the thing, too, with if you run the basics, also like Chromatic Lantern and like maybe even a Joiner Adept, just to fix the colors. Like you can use non-land slots to fix the colors, which is generally a lot cheaper than trying to fix your colors with your land slots. Anyway, I'm going to try the Smothering Tithe and hope it doesn't bite us. When in doubt, go for it. We'll swing into 7 Deadly. Give him the token as well. Mana Crypt, Ring of Valkus. We get our first treasure. I'd at least like to get one more, just so we can unsubstantiate if we need to. We're wide open, so opponent will swing our way. Yep. Down to 30. 6 Commander. Oh man, that's a 5/6. That's a lot of cost reduction. And then it flips. Now it's a 6/7. Smothering Tithe. Would love it if they didn't pay. Got a lot of interaction I want to use, but also want to be proactive, so... they're paying. Don't like it. Don't like it. Make a treasure. I mean, Tatyova's probably going to draw a million cards. So I'm expecting that we're going to get a couple treasures out of Tatyova. The only thing I'm worried about is this a Nature's Claim? It's untapped forest right here. Hero of Bladehold. Second treasure. Excellent. Unsubstantiate is online if we need it. Wizard class. That'll draw more cards. Well, maybe not just yet, but soon, probably. Landfall. Excellent. Smothering Tithe. Beautiful. Anguished Unmaking is now up. I did the short the other day for Ishin, and I'm pretty excited about it because it's going to be a really good Hero of Bladehold deck. And I love Hero of Bladehold. I just haven't played the decks where I've really been able to use it of late. So, very excited. I've already started setting cards aside in paper to build that deck. Can't wait for it to come out. Opponent's going to draw some cards. More treasures. I'm glad we went for the Smothering Tithe. No one shot it. It was a gamble, right? Like, if they shoot it, that plays really bad. If they don't shoot it, we're going to have a ton of mana on our turn. We can do so much when we untap. There's Azusa. Yeah, just keep playing those lands. Just keep dropping them in. Man, we can get Aura Shards this turn, too, and just demolish our opponent's permanents. I mean, I guess it's not that bad. It's like 2 and 2, but still, important things that I'm sure they want. You can also get all of D-Manny's stuff. Probably take him, more or less out of the game. That also assumes that, I don't think we're going to win unless we catch something really powerful off the top, but we can tilt the momentum heavily in our favor, I think. Is that an overloaded Cyclonic Rift? Yeah, that's an overloaded Cyclonic Rift for 1. We're going to Anguish Unmaking the Vadrik, because that can't stay. Rift I was not counting on. Had not factored that one into the equation. Man, if we bounce it, they just cast it. Actually, you know what? Ooh. Okay, yeah, so we Anguished Unmaking, and then we bounce it, and then they can't just recast it. Uh-oh, opponent's got something. They're going to snap Najeela, and then untap... Oh, that might change things. Can't do much about the snap. They'll untap 2 lands. I'm curious to see what those lands are for. The commander goes down. Rift is still on the stack. Let's think about this. We'll be on 5 lands, but it'll be tapped. So, we'd basically just be recasting Smothering Tithe, and then opponent's going to redrop. I feel like unsubstantiating this makes sense, because we're just going to lose so much tempo. I guess the problem, though, is that we have to recast Najeela, and then we're not going to have enough to cast Aura Shards, so they could just do it again. I guess we just let it happen then. Save the unsubstantiate. Get the Rift over with. It's early in the game, and... No one interacted with the Smothering Tithe last turn, so I assume that it'll probably stick for next. So, opponent has to discard the hand size. Rough. Wizard class got bounced. No longer have... Oh, that's a Feast and Famine. Play the Parry Stream. That's the easy part of the turn. Do we have Wooburg if we just cast Najeela right here? So let's say blue, white, black, red, green. We do indeed have Wooburg. Which might mean just going for Najeela. Yeah, let's go for Najeela then. Cast our commander. Pass like that. No one shot our commander yet. And plus the Rift forces everyone into rebuild mode. So everyone's going to be just trying to get cards out of their hand and get things into play. Which makes it... You have to be really disciplined after that to still leave up interaction. Opponent's going to recast their commander. Yep. Equips the Ring of Valkus. It now has haste. So we got 1 tapped out. That's all we need to do. We just need to get them all tapped out. and things should go really well after that. Although, this will get trample, right? Gains trample, lifelink, and haste. God, that's so crazy. So much stuff. Boros Signet. That's the thing you can do. I guess the focus wouldn't work out that well, but I was just thinking, like, you could do a keywords tribal thing with Najeela, but, like, Najeela is so strong that doing anything other than winning with Najeela is just a hard sell, because she's just always going to outshine everything else in your deck. And opponent recast Forging Tyrite Sword, gets another treasure. I've been testing this card out a little bit in paper. I've been using it in my not as fully tuned Boros decks, and it's very reasonable. Obviously, it's better early in a game. It's a little less good late, but just having a few extra treasures on hand and then searching for an equipment a little later, or a Halvar if you need it, all good stuff. So it's a nice early gameplay just because it's not true ramp, but the mana does help a little bit, and it's a slow tutor, so it's doing two things you want. So not necessarily a best in slot card for most decks, but, you know, Steel Shaper's Gift is really expensive, and this thing is super cheap, so that does make a huge difference. Yep, all of our opponents are tapped out. Things are shaping up. Oh, nope, there's one on tap land. Well, pray for no Nature's Claim. Oh, they tap it out for an elf. Perfect, and it's green. Brings it back to our turn. There's a Steel Shaper's Gift. Speak of the devil. Cast this Feast and Famine. Equip this Feast and Famine. Go to combat. I guess there's one treasure up. We'll swing into Asgard. Make a 1/1. Send it to D-Manny. I need to not screw this thing up. Untap all attacking creatures. They gain trample, lifelink, and haste. After this phase, there is an additional combat phase. Activate only during combat. Yeah, you gotta remember that activate only during combat part. D-Manny said, I knew I should have left up removal this turn. Yeah, that's exactly what I was talking about. So there's a Feast and Famine trigger. We untap, end combat step, activate Najeela. Blue, white, we'll go black, red, and green. There's the trigger. Do it again. Back to combat. God, it gives them haste too. That's so crazy. Swing into Asgard, swing into D-Manny. Use the ability. Opponent's asking if they can scoop. Yeah, they can scoop. Seven Deadly said he had nothing left in hand. Yeah, he only had one card left. Tatyova was the one I was worried about, and as well as Swords or Path from the Boros deck. Yeah, Najeela's still really strong. We just won on turn 6 through an overloaded Cyclonic Rift. That's so insane. You shouldn't be able to do that. Anyway, yeah, the main changes I would make, I think I would add some Signets into the deck, drop the Snowlands, add in some basics, maybe a Chromatic Lantern, and like even maybe a Joiner Adept. Just because there's a lot of tap lands in the deck, and you're definitely choking on the tapped mana. You can reduce it a little bit, right? Like, you still need a bunch of them, but you can cut it down just a little bit, get a few more basics, and the basics will help out your BFZ lands a lot as well. So, just something to think about. But anyway, the rest of the deck looks really good. It's really powerful. Everything's working pretty well, I think. So, hope you guys enjoyed the video. As always, feel free to comment, like, or subscribe. Thank you for watching.
I want to thank my awesome Patreon supporters. You guys are awesome. If you want to help support the channel, vote on which decks I play next, or get some good games of Spell Table going, be sure to check out my Patreon at the link below.